Why is everybody talking about productivity systems? It feels like every YouTuber is telling you that your current system is trash, and then if you just change X, Y, and Z and integrate these 7 tools, then every problem in your life will be fixed. I'm here to tell you that that new app is not going to help. And that's really hard for me to say because of the fact that I love trying calendar apps and task management apps and trying to build the perfect system. The problem is my lack of productivity, and most likely yours, is not due to a tool. It's simply me and you. So let's get into it. Hey, if you're new here, my name is Chris. Welcome to the channel. This is the place where we talk about mastering your technology, your finances, and productivity to become a better human being. So if that's interesting to you, feel free to follow along, like the channel, and subscribe. So, have you ever heard of the paradox of choice? Well, it was actually coined by psychologist Barry Schwartz, and he says this: the paradox of choice is used to describe the idea that increased choice allows us to achieve better results, but it also leads to greater stress, indecision, and choice paralysis. So why does this matter? Well, in the year 2000, a Columbia University professor conducted a jam study as an exploration of choice. And they found out that when they displayed 24 jams in a supermarket, only 60% of customers would stop by and taste the jam, but only 3% ended up making a purchase. However, in that same scenario, when they only displayed 6 jars, fewer people actually stopped to taste, roughly 40%. But the actual purchases were 30%, or 10 times higher than when there were 24 choices that were out to be sampled. So the abbreviated version of that story is really just less is more. The thing is, choice is important, especially when it comes to your apps or your tools or your systems. It's really important to make sure that you pick the tool that's right for you. However, when you are dwelling on the perfect solution and the integration between tool A and B and C, you are really just spending far more time trying to process the tool than actually being in the process. So if choice isn't the solution, then what is? It's reducing friction. That's all there is to it. Now, I know that I can't be the only one that's become addicted to watching videos on building the perfect Notion template or learning how to sync my Kindle app into Readwise, into my note-taking app. But the thing is, it's all just fluff that keeps me from actually being productive and present at the task at hand. Ultimately, that's why I've decided to use many of the default apps that are already on my iPhone. That's why I'm using Apple Notes and Apple Reminders, because they're efficient and they work and there's no friction and they sync into all my other devices. And the thing is, if you're on a Windows device or an Android device, there's great tools available that are free to use as well. You've got Google Keep, TickTick, Todoist, and all kinds of calendar apps. There's great tools available for free that don't need to link into a complicated system. The goal should be reducing friction, not creating a more complicated system. And when you do that, you unlock 3 powerful things. 1, you've got more brain power that you can dedicate to the problem at hand. 2, you can be more creative with your solutions. And 3, you will actually work quicker and be happier. Now, if you've gotten this far, you're probably thinking to yourself, Chris hates having a productivity system, or he hates this app or that app, and that's simply not true. I think every app is built for a specific purpose, and if it works well for you, then that's great. But for me, I have always found that reducing friction is what needs to happen in order for me to actually get things done. And so that happens in 3 primary applications. Number 1 is Apple Reminders, and I've got an entire dedicated video for this showing how I set up my tasks, my recurring tasks, and how I link those into my calendar. The second app that I'm using is Apple Notes, and I've got a video on this as well. But I love the fact that it's got basic hierarchy of folders, and I can easily share those with friends and family, and I can keep everything there synced across all of my devices. The third and final tool that I'm using is actually Notion. I use Notion to plan all of my YouTube videos using a Kanban board where I keep track of all my ideas, what's being edited, what's being filmed, and when it's being published. To close this video out, I just encourage you to try and simplify your system. Maybe you've got a really complex system right now with multiple apps connecting into one another, and if that works for you, that's great. But for me, I just found that reducing the friction and just going with 2 or 3 simple apps, whether they connect into each other or not, ultimately ended up being the best solution for me and made it easier to just get work done. So if you learned something new in this video or you're gonna try something new, I'd love to hear what you're doing in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.